Matt Russell alongside Steve Roach and Ben Gardner. You have both had the joy of being to Hull. Have you got any advice for Daly Cherry Evans? Should he pack his swimmers, Stephen?
I'll tell you what I'll say to him. Don't look for a resort because there isn't any.
Ben, would you like to weigh in on the joys of going?
Not really. I'll stay away from it.
Look, DCE,
We love the fans there, but...
We do.
They love rugby league.
Yeah.
DCE and the Roosters, what was the key to them beating the Panthers, Ben?
Oh, their defence. Their defence was unbelievable. Their line speed that they had, they were able to put great pressure on the Panthers' attack. And they were really smart in what they did. They went about their business really well. They kicked early at times. They kicked touch to slow the game down when they needed to. I thought that they were really strong and, put huge pressure on the Panthers' attack to win the game.
I looked at the quick turnaround. Now, good on the Roosters. I was applauding their win. I think it was outstanding, but I don't think it'll have anything to do if those two sides play in the grand final.
Okay. Well, this is a blatant rip-off from Vossi's morning show where you appeared on SEN this morning. I heard you talking about ball in play. That's fascinating. Where did that game rank? Because we know it was a great game, right?
Great game,
Fantastic game. This backs it up.
It ranked seventh highest of all time in the ball in play, 63 minutes and 42 seconds. The longer the ball is in play, the higher quality game, I believe. And that's what the best teams in the comp want to do. They want to keep the ball in play, have that war of attrition to break the opposition down. And I thought they both had a fair crack at it on the weekend.
I thought the Panthers were great, considering the quick turnaround. You know, that they played on the Thursday night against the Roosters, and they were down a couple of troops.
Yeah.
Quick turnaround. The Roosters, if they were ever going to win, I know you still got to win that game, but if they're ever going to win, they're going to win that one.
The Roosters go top of the Pops, where Penrith had been since round 4. Look at that ladder block. Who's your premiership favourite right now then?
Oh, I still think the Panthers. I never knock champions.
Ben?
I know the Roosters are on the top, but I think the Panthers still are as well. I think they get their players back and, they have every chance of doing it again. Penrith
start round 24 in Melbourne. Here's the Storm number 6 on his future and Billy Slater's.
Probably no better brainiac than, Bill when it comes to footy. He's footy mad and, he dissects the game so well, and you can see the way he had some great years for Queensland as a player and as a coach, and then vice versa when he's, dissecting it for the commentary in Channel 9. So, whatever he decides to do, I'm sure a lot of people will be, lining up for his services, and why wouldn't you? Look, obviously the coach does play a part, and, the coach going to want to have me here as well. We've got some good young kids coming through our grades and our pathways, but then also too, I love the club. I have so much respect and love for it. They were the club that gave me my first chance, and I'm all about, giving back to that. Could have gone to, other clubs for probably more money in that space, but at the same time, I've got to make sure I do the right thing for my family too.
Who's going to play with Melbourne? Who's going to coach Melbourne long term? Who's going to coach Queensland next year? Matt Ballin, Cam Smith, Jonathan Thurston, Cooper Cronk, Darius Boyd, Ben Teo, Nate Miles, Mal Meninga, Wayne Bennett, Fatty Vorton. Ben Gardner, is Yamba part of Queensland?
No, it's not. It's not part of Queensland.
So you're off that list. Blocker, did you?
Yeah.
Well, I thought that was their best ever team. What are you going to get a hat and just pull one out?
Who's going to do it?
I don't know.
I'll find someone, I'm sure. It won't be Christian Wolf, who's on the up at the Dolphins, and a key reason for that is Isaiya Katoa.
They put 22 points on the Sea Eagles, but securing a shutout means the most.
We had a focus going into the Manly game around our defence, and we were a lot better in that department.
The NRL's youngest club now in the competition's top 4 with 3 games to play. Halfback Isaiya Katoa happy to help out the defensive line 3 weeks into his comeback from a broken wrist.
It's actually pulled up really well after every game, and it's given me a lot of confidence to just get back out there and I guess defend with a bit of confidence, knowing that if I get a knock to it, it's not going to pull up in any sore.
Other than injury, the 22-year-old is enjoying a stunning season. He last lost an NRL game in April and came close to a New South Wales debut as Mitch Moses' understudy. The apprentice now preparing to take on the master this Friday.
He's a massive communicator in terms of, obviously when you're in the halves you need to be one of the loudest on the field, but he's also nice and clear and direct in terms of his comms. It was awesome being able to rub shoulders and just learn little things off him.
The Suncorp Stadium clash, another chance for Katoa to calcify his connection with outgoing halves partner Cody Nikorima.
It's about just enjoying the rest of the year, and like you said, just making the most of the plays that we got, because they're some of the most important plays in our team.
Even so, he does have one eye on next year, where former Raiders half George Williams will arrive from the Super League.
He's a quality player, and he's a very experienced player as well. So I know that for me, it actually helps my game. I think we'll help each other really well in terms of just balancing out each other.
Injured forward Connolly Lemuelu won't play against the Eels due to a hamstring injury. The club say he could return as soon as round 26. Josh Bristow, Fox Sports News.
Yes, Christian Wolf, Coach of the Year contender, as is Justin Holbrook. Takerbau Newcastle confirmed finalists less than 12 months after a wooden spoon. They've now scored 29 long-range tries. That is starting in their own half, 10 clear of any other team. Last year, they had 5. So 5 to 29. Ben, what are you seeing in the night?
Seeing a clear plan coming out of their own end, willing to shift the ball.
I see that they've got weapons now. They used to rely too much on Ponga. Now they've got half a dozen blokes who can score.
What can they do in the finals quickly, men?
They can do anything if they put their mind to it and the ball goes in hand. They're enjoyable to watch, that's for sure.
The only worry for me is winning 3 big games when it really counts.
Final round bye gives them a nice warm-up for what they hope will be a home final. Thanks for your company tonight, Blocker, Ben.
Thank
good
you.
On you. Stay tuned for NRL 360. It's Monday, August 17. This is NRL Tonight. I'm Matt Russell. Here are the headlines. All eyes on Latrell as the Rabbitohs inch closer to the finals, beating the Bulldogs and moving on to the Wars. Unbeaten since April, Isaiya Katoa celebrates a Sea Eagles shutout that sent the Finns top 4. And Big Papa's big send-off. Canberra set to summons something special for Josh Papalii's final home game. And that's where we start tonight. Josh Papalii's 16-year NRL career is in its final throes. The club's most capped player is so adored in the capital, the Raiders are clamouring to be part of the occasion and have made success against Brisbane in his last home game non-negotiable.
Yeah, it means a lot. I'm definitely holding back the tears right now. This club means a lot to me. It means a lot. Tough. It's been on my mind for a few weeks now, a few months actually. A lot of sleepless nights. Just thinking whether I could keep going or not. Funny story, day one of pre-season, before I even started, I went up to Ricky's office and I said I quit. And he told me to just hang on and do one session. I went and did that one session and come last in everything, and I was pretty sure from then. So, it hasn't been my season as well. I've had an injury I've had to carry for a few weeks, and just not being there to play in milestone games like one of my best friend's 250th game. We had Tommy's 150th. They're the games that you want to play in, and I just wasn't there for those milestones, and I just knew it was time for me. I can't remember that far, to be honest. It's been so long. I just remember every time I put that jersey on, I've always wanted to leave it in a better place than I received it. So, and this Friday will be no different. It doesn't matter what number I have on my back. It's I want to give the club my all. I want to give these boys my all, and that's all I'm focusing on.
He's emotional already. Imagine what it's going to be like on Friday. Let's get more from a man who knows life as a middle forward oh so well, Steve Roach, alongside Josh's Samoa coach, Ben Gardner. Good evening to both of you. Block, what have you admired most about Josh Papalii and his career? Canberra, Queensland, Australia, Samoa great.
I'll firstly start off by saying I've got a huge respect for him. I think what he does week in and week out, he's so resilient, he's consistent. If I had a look at a lot of the great players from the Canberra Raiders in the front row, Lazo would be number one. I think Big Papa would make the front row in that all-time side. Great competitor, 8 out of 10 every week, every time he plays. No nonsense, just goes about his business. And you can tell a lot of times now when you talk to a lot of the other players, they are forgoing surgery so they can play with him in their last game. That tells you a lot about the man.
Simi Sasangi, desperate to be part of that as Samoa teammates. Ben, you're his Samoa coach. What do you have to say in terms of his play, his presence, his leadership? And there's much more than those three words.
Oh, he's amazing. He's an amazing man. Had the pleasure of coaching him last year with the Samoan team, and he just came in and he has his presence around the team and the boys and brings his family with him wherever he goes, and he's a real family man. And it's interesting that they had up there on the mural Papa's house, because definitely down in Canberra this week, and obviously in and around his family, like he rules the roost. He's a great man, a great leader. He takes people with him along the way, and I expect that to happen with Canberra this weekend.
Block, I respect your views immensely. And you say milestones, big moment, all good and well, but 10 minutes into battle, that's worn off and you're into the throes of rugby league. I'm not so sure that'll be the case Canberra against Brisbane. When teammates look up and see Big Papa still ripping in and thinking, at the 20-minute mark, the 40, the 60-minute mark, it's our last home game with this bloke.
Well, they've had a lot of success over the years at Canberra Raiders, a lot of superstars, and he's right up there with them. Yeah, I agree with you. If it's a 300 gamer or 150 games and all that wears off after 5 minutes. But when that guy's on the field, you'll be able to see that his team will live for him.
The Broncos up against it, Ben, as a result?
Oh, I think so. I think you'll see a huge physical effort from the Raiders this weekend. I'd say Big Papa to start this week. Go out and lead them from the start, be physical from the start, and then the boys will bring it home for him.
He had a great 300-game milestone. He had a memorable game when he became the Raiders' most capped. Here he is in his final, the last hurrah at GIO Stadium. And the Raiders carry winning form into the game after beating Cronulla at Shark Park. Ata Mariotta was impressive as a starting prop. And four-time reigning Mal Meninga medalist Joe Tarpany, Papa's best mate, scored the decisive try as we look at the way the Raiders beat Cronulla. How big a loss is Papalii on the back of Corey Horsburgh, Morgan Smithies, last year Trey Mooney? Block, it's a fair bit of talent, expertise and experience that they're lacking now.
No, you're 100% right, but maybe Ricky has looked at it and said, the game's changed now. A lot more speed around the ruck. There are a lot of big blokes there that they've let go now and Papa given it away. Maybe it might be the change in the guard of how they're going to play football.
Well, Cronulla led 8-0 in better than even time when Braydon Trindall scored, but in doing so, he dislocated his shoulder. Now, the good news is he's avoided surgery and will rehab the shoulder with a view to returning sometime this season. Ben, your Perth-bound Nifai Puru is tipped to fill in the meantime. So Cronulla suffer back-to-back losses and slip out of the top four. How serious is this situation for the Sharkies as they confront the Titans, the Eels and the Storm to finish?
Yeah, I think it's quite serious. I think Trindall's been the leading light for them this year, and I think that he's drove the team around the field. His kicking game's been brilliant. His ability to put tries on for the team, he's going to be heavily missed throughout this next period and, potentially into the finals as well.
I felt a bit for Nico on the weekend. I mean, he tried to... Mate, you watched the game again. He was all over the place just trying to...
He was trying so hard.
Well, I thought he was trying a little bit too hard. I mean, he comes under plenty of scrutiny week in and week out. But, without Trindall organising everything, they're going to do it tough. And especially being beaten the last couple of games, they're going to do it tough.
They're on the Gold Coast against the Titans this Sunday. See it on Fox League. It was another weekend of high-profile halves injuries. This was heartbreaking for Luke Metcalf in his second game back from a serious hamstring injury and with such a rotten history of setbacks. A possible season-ending hamstring complaint comes with Tamare Martin out for at least another week. Tanner Boyd gone for the season. And Chance Nickel-Klukstar facing a 2-week suspension will leave Luke Metcalf there and get over to Nickel-Klukstar, a tackle that ended the season for Reece Walsh. So there's a lot to discuss here. Firstly, who should partner Chanel Harris-Tavita in the halves against Souths as the Warriors desperately chase that top two finish? Luke Hanson, Jet Cleary or other, Stephen?
Well, it's a big thing now to come in and they've got to make that top two, haven't they? So the one thing I'll say about the Warriors, every time they've had injuries and they've had to bring someone in, they're ready. I think they're fifth or something in the reserve grade. They look like they're ready to play in big games. I wouldn't be surprised if they bring Cleary in.
Yeah.
Well, Luke Hanson's played one NRL game. Jett still to make his debut.
Yeah.
They were 6 and 7 as the Warriors beat Manly on the weekend. So Hanson or Cleary?
Yeah, I'd like
compromised in your answer here.
No,
Links.
no, I'd like to see Cleary play. Okay. I think that what they've done this year is they've kept their game plan really simple and just gone to the middle of the field in the attacking end, which has opened up opportunities to run the ball. So I think that he comes into the team, he runs the ball, he keeps it simple, and he gets his first grade debut, which would be very cool.
Okay, so they're in Sydney this weekend against Souths, then 2 home games to finish, they hope, before 2 home games in the finals. Now, Reece Walsh will have surgery on a high-grade syndesmosis injury. Recovery is reported as 8 weeks, which gets him back 3 days before the Kangaroos World Cup opener. What role, if any, does Reece Walsh play in that tournament blocker?
I don't think you can pick him, especially when you got Teddy. And they're going to finish up near the top of the premiership. So when you got Teddy and Edwards, those 2 guys, I think it'd be injustice to those guys if he came back after that and was put in the side.
As for that Warriors win against the Broncos, Ben, tell us how many metres Brisbane averaged per set against the Wars.
Yeah, it was an interesting game. They just didn't have any power out of the backfield. They only ran 27 metres per set on average. Normally you get up around 40 metres per set. It just didn't look like they had the power, the physicality and the tackle breaking power that they've had throughout the years. So that is a concern for the Broncos. But, the Wars on the other front, they defended well around it.
Blocker, you look through that Brisbane lineup, even with some injuries affecting the team, 27 metres per set. React to that for us.
I thought he was just talking about Payne Haas. He's 27% himself, doesn't he?
He does.
The big thing is now, their season's gone, no doubt about that. What happens is you start to look to the bloke next year to do something rather than worrying about doing it yourself. So, mate, they have been poor this year. Virgin gone saying, mate, they've been really useless, haven't they? Really, if you're honest about the Brisbane performances in their forward pack, they've been ordinary.
Now listen to the coach. Here's Michael Maguire.
I reckon that's garbage, mate. We're playing a team next week that's not in the same boat. We're playing for the Broncos. The boys are playing for the Broncos. They've got a badge that they wear. Mate, that is not good enough. I normally keep my cool at these things. We need to have a good hard look at ourselves and get into the game the way we know we can. Well, we'll get exactly the same next week.
And next week is that game on Friday in Canberra. Andrew Webster, much happier. They play the Rabbitohs in Sydney. As I mentioned, they go home to finish against the Knights and Sea Eagles. Top 2 or not right here, right now, Ben?
I say top 2. I think that they've got a good run home. I think the fact that they're at home for the last 2 games really helps them. And they're in scintillating form. Like, they're playing great footy, so I think they can make the top 2.
Can you imagine the Wars, the last 2 games playing at home, and then they get 2 home semis?
Yeah, that's right. They will get 2, but if it goes perfectly for them, they'll go home round 26, home round 27, win week 1, prelim at home. They won't be back to Australia until, if it goes well, GF.
GF, yeah.
It's some scenario, isn't it?
Great scenario for them.
They're on a good path.
Speaking of the Rabbitohs, Latrell Mitchell is never far from the news. Cody Kay has the latest.
The bad news is there's still no news on Latrell Mitchell's return from a calf injury. The superstar fullback hasn't played since round 11. No one can shed any light on when he might finally be back.
To be honest, personally, I don't know where he's at physically in terms of return to play, but there's still hope, and we'd love to have him out there. So I don't know when that'll be, but any time he can suit up for us will be great for us. Yeah.
If the Bunnies do make the finals for the first time since 2022, no one will be happier about it than Ewan Aitken. It's been over a decade since he last tasted September footy, and that was a first-round exit with the Dragons way back in 2015.
I'm probably one of the longest serving players that hasn't played finals since my first year, so it means a lot to me to get in that team and play some finals footy. So that's the only thing I had written down before the start of the year was to play finals. So to do that, and hopefully get to do that over the next few weeks.
Sean Keppie, meantime, has cause to celebrate, re-signing with the Bunnies until the end of 2028. The Wayne Bennett effect doing wonders for him on the field and also off it as coach of an under-14 side.
He called me into his office one day when I told him I was coaching a team, and he said, he goes, sit in my chair. He told me to write a few things down, and then he's like, all right, now get out of my chair. So it was pretty funny, but no, he's helped me out a lot.
Cody Kay, Fox Sports News.
Well, like the Warriors, Wayne Bennett needs to dip into all those tips he handed Kepi because he needs a new half. Again, it was goal kicking that did the damage. This is uncanny at the moment. Jayden Sullivan injured his groin attempting a shot at goal in their win against Canterbury. So is it Jonah Glover or Jamie Humphreys to the rescue on Saturday evening? Because the injury here to Sullivan follows this. Ashton Ward already out for the season, having pinged his hamstring kicking a week ago. What is going on? When did goal kicking become such a dangerous occupation? It didn't stop South Sydney staying unbeaten at Sydney Olympic Park after a fine display from Cody Walker, with Matt Duffy again demanding an upgraded extension. Blocker, a word on Souths right now.
I'll tell you what I have enjoyed over the last month, their improvement in their defence. That was a big thing. We all knew on their left-hand side they can score more tries than any other side in the competition. But it's all about timing. I think their defence is a lot better than it was earlier in the year. And just talking about Latrell, I reckon he should have a talk to Jack Whiten. I watch Jack Whiten week in and week out. I've never seen, well, I've seen a lot, but a lot of players like that. But how wholehearted he is and how much he wants to play. You know, I want to see Latrell get back with it from that injury and have the same sort of impact that Jack Whiten has.
The Bulldogs, Ben, they go Dragons, Panthers, Broncos to finish. Dragons, Panthers, Broncos. If they miss finals after last year running third, how agitated should their fans be? Is there any sort of obvious fix over the off-season?
I think that they should be very agitated. I think that their ability to score tries hasn't been great throughout the year. They need to have a little bit of a look at their spine. I think that has been spoken about throughout the year. They're 9. Bailey Hayward's done a really courageous job for them. And they're 7 and they're 6. Just the combinations and how they present that at the start of next year is going to be really important to them. So I think they need to step back, look at their recruitment in that area and see if they can make some adjustments.
How did you two see the Stephen Crichton referee contact? Now, given the penalties we've seen dished out for the most minor interactions between players and whistleblowers in the past, did the Dogs get lucky here? It was ruled mutual infringement, no try to South Sydney and no charge for Crichton. What do you reckon?
I think it's a try to South Sydney all day, every day. Just have a look where Stephen Crichton was looking. That was gamesmanship. Yeah. He deliberately ran into him.
Well, if that's the case, if that's the case, if he deliberately ran into him, then it's much more than just a try to South Sydney. It's a charge and possible suspension for cricket, right?
Yeah, quite possibly. He was playing the game, definitely playing the game. There's no doubt about it. It was a try to South Sydney. The referees have played by the rule book there in that situation. But, I'm happy for everyone to move on. I think that that's okay. I don't want to see him get suspended for that. But, he was playing them, that's for sure.
While we're at it, how about Tom Chester's crucial high contact on Mitch Moses? Is this the lowest high contact in the history of rugby league? Are we comfortable with this being a match-deciding penalty, especially with big games just around the corner? Moses was very smart challenging. It gave him this kick to go ahead late in the game. But is this the reason we have penalties in the game? In the off-season, what if we decided that accidental, incidental type contact like this would not be penalised? Would we open a can of worms? For example, would we know where to draw the line?
Yeah, I don't know if we would. I don't think it should be challengeable. I think that it's fair for the bunker to come in and make a decision on it, but challenging a high shot, Moses is really good at it. He plays the rules. He's done it a couple of times this year and been able to win games on the back of those challenges, but I don't think you should be able to challenge the high contact. I think the bunkers should come in and make it.
I would have been more worried when he got garroted earlier on in the game by Tom Malolo. Did you see that?
I did see that. Yeah, absolutely. But it has been a topic of discussion. Do we want to have a final decided by an incident like that? The answer is no, right?
Well, it's the rules now.
What's the fix?
It's the rules. Everyone knows the rules. If you hit someone on the head, irrespective of where they are, you can't do it.
Yeah, for the second time this season, the Eels and Cowboys were 30 all before the boot of Mitch Moses proved crucial. Ben, if Para get better luck with injuries next year, after the arrival of Jerome Luai and Jaden Sewer, do they become a finals team?
Oh, they're every chance of it. I think what they've been able to do is work really hard as a team and put a game style together that suit them. They move the ball a lot. They put a lot of pressure on defensive decisions. And if they can bring players in with skill like that, which they're going to do, good players, they're every chance of making the finals next year.
Block the Cowboys, our dear old Cowboys. They go into a bye and then finish with home games against West Tigers and Canberra. They should play finals, right, with that draw from here. But if they make finals, are they cannon fodder or a genuine wild card, given how brilliant they can be on their best day?
I think if you finish outside the top 4 in this competition this year, I think you're cannon fodder.
Okay.
I don't think. Look, they've been too patchy. They've had some good passages during the year, but they're not consistent.
Blocker, you requested who did it best again, and here's a beauty for you. Just 2 forwards in tonight's field, showing non-forward skills. Junior Barlaw literally tossed up his first try assist of the season. He says he's a halfback trapped in a 120-kilogram body. What a ball from the big bloke. Upper Twiddle scoring on the end of it, and Junior Barlaw going straight into the CIO's office and saying, give me half-back money after a ball like that. Then we go over to this other end of the crazy game that featured a wonderful try finished by Tom Chester. Now, you have to wait for it, but bench forward John Bateman delivered his first try assist of the season as well. Here it comes, a kick. So 2 forwards showing their halves how to do it. Who did it best, Junior or John?
Well, I'm going to go Junior because he's a front rower, of course. But mate, what wonderful skill. I've seen him do that sort of stuff before. I remember last year, or a couple of years ago in the World Cup, you used him as a ball player.
Yeah.
Getting one off the ruck. He can do it.
Mm-hmm. Who did it best, Junior or John?
I'm going to go with Bateman, John Bateman. I love a forward that kicks the ball. I think it's absolutely amazing. So he now has his kicking licence as well, so he can do it again.
Well, I think it's hilarious because bulk of the time at training, when you're just mucking around, you're practising those sort of things.
Well, John Bateman's got to take that to the Bradford Bulls next season because that's where he's off to. We're off to a break. We'll get Blocker and Ben's premiership favourites right here, right now, after the break. Roosters, Panthers or other, and review the long-range Knights lighting it up from distance again.